The grassy field stretched wide and endless under the golden morning light, the blades of savanna grass swaying in long waves like an ocean of green. In this ancient wilderness, where predators prowled unseen and the sky carried the scent of coming storms, a small clan of gorilla-like proto-humans moved together. They were massive, powerful, and covered in coarse fur that glistened with dew, yet they were not only beasts of brute strength. Their eyes told another story, deep-set and thoughtful, carrying a spark of awareness that went beyond instinct, a quiet intelligence that kept them bound as one. Among them was a pregnant female, her movements slower but deliberate, her heavy belly carrying the fragile hope of their future. She leaned on instinct and experience, choosing safer paths where the ground was even and the grass taller, shielding her from both the harsh winds and the eyes of predators. The clan's males often walked ahead, sniffing the air, listening for danger, their shoulders broad and ready, but always glancing back to ensure she was close behind. Her pregnancy shaped the rhythm of their journey. They did not rush, they did not scatter. Instead, they moved as one, as though the pulse within her belly had become the drumbeat of their survival. Though no words passed their lips, their understanding was deep. The life she carried mattered more than food, more than rest, more than the hunt. She was their future, and in her womb grew the bridge between today's survival and tomorrow's existence. The grassy field was harsh, but for her they softened their pace, and in the quiet gestures of protection, their shared humanity began to show. The sun climbed higher, and with it came a punishing heat that turned the grassy field into a shimmering sea of gold. The pregnant female moved with care, her strength preserved for both herself and the fragile infant within. Every step was measured, deliberate, as if she already knew the value of conserving energy. While the younger males busied themselves with scouting the perimeters of the field, watching for movement among the tall grass where leopards and wild dogs prowled, the females foraged nearby. They plucked tender shoots from the earth, cracked open nuts with stones, and pulled up edible roots with patient effort. The pregnant one was given first choice, an unspoken offering of the best foods to nourish her body and child. At the edge of the grassland, she sometimes lowered herself into shallow streams, the cool water washing against her hands and belly as she rested. There, she would catch the scent of damp earth and hear the trickle of small fish darting away, a sound of life beyond her own. Her clan guarded her vigilantly during these moments, circling around with tense shoulders, eyes flicking toward every ripple of grass or distant bird cry. Even when threats did not appear, their caution never wavered, for they knew predators were patient hunters. In this simple pattern of foraging, guarding, and resting, the pregnant female endured her days. Yet her endurance was more than survival. It was sacrifice. Her slowed pace made the clan vulnerable, but they stayed, loyal to her and the unseen child. Their quiet loyalty revealed a truth deeper than survival. They did not simply live, they cared, and in that care lay the roots of what would one day become human bonds. As the day drew toward evening, shadows stretched across the field, and the wind shifted with the cooling air. The clan prepared for night, building their refuge near a cluster of rocks and low trees where the grass was thinner and the ground firmer. Here the pregnant female lowered herself carefully, easing her weary body onto soft earth cushioned with grass. Her belly rose like a symbol of promise against the fading light, and she stroked it unconsciously, as though communicating with the life inside. Around her, the others busied themselves, gathering sticks for small fires, arranging stones for tools, and watching the skies as vultures circled high above, waiting for weakness or death. The pregnant female did not sleep immediately. She sat upright, her eyes reflecting the dim glow of the horizon, aware of the risks that came with her condition. Birth in the wild was dangerous. Blood could draw predators, weakness could expose her to death. Yet despite this, she carried herself with quiet strength, a kind of dignity that radiated to the rest of the clan. They sensed her burden and responded with watchfulness, taking turns to stand guard through the night, their powerful silhouettes etched against the starlit sky. In her silent endurance, she inspired the group. They were more than muscle and instinct, they were guardians of a fragile continuity. The grassy field, vast and merciless, tested them every day, but the unborn infant was the reason they endured its trials. Their fire crackled softly, their breaths rose and fell in rhythm, and the pregnant female, heavy with life, sat at the center of it all like the heart of their world. Night deepened, and with it came silence broken only by the whisper of wind and the distant roar of hunting beasts. The pregnant gorilla-like proto-human lay surrounded by her clan, their massive bodies forming a protective circle. Her breaths were heavy, her body strained, but her eyes held a glimmer of patience, as though she carried within her the wisdom of survival itself. Pregnancy was not a quiet blessing here. It was a battlefield of endurance, fought in the womb and mirrored in the world outside. Every moment was risk, yet every risk was born with a hope that her child would open its eyes to the same stars that now burned above. In her, the line between beast and human blurred. She was both vulnerable and powerful, fragile yet unbreakable. Her companions sensed this, and without words they gave her their strength. Standing guard, sharing food, offering silence when she needed rest. The grassy field was harsh, unrelenting, but it was also their home, and it bore witness to the raw, unshaped beginnings of something greater than survival. Within her womb, in the small heartbeat that echoed faintly under fur and flesh, lay the possibility of tomorrow. She was not just a mother-to-be. She was a vessel of continuity, a promise that their kind would walk farther, endure longer, and perhaps, someday, rise beyond the grassy fields. And so she endured, as countless pregnant females had before and would after, carrying not just life, but the story of existence itself.